Hello, everyone. So, France had seized another Russian tanker supposedly belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet. And again, usually when the word comes from someone else other than Russia, I tend to believe them. I just do. Has something to do with Russia's constant lies. I don't know. So now Russia is saying that they will respond. They're saying that this is bordering on piracy. Okay. What are you going to do? Because I'd like to remind you, dear Russia, that France is not just anybody. France is a nuclear nation. What the fuck are you going to do? Start a war with France? Is that what you're going to do? What are you going to do? Especially now that Ukraine is kicking your ass. And people are not impressed with you anymore. You realize that these kinds of threats don't go very far and are not going to get you anything. Case in point. Once again, after spending March and April basically not going anywhere, Russia had negative gains in May, combined with another month of record losses. There are now multiple reputable sources that have maps that show this, that show that Russia is losing territory. Now, yes, it's not a lot of territory. Okay, I understand that it's not anything huge, and we have a long way to go before we finally show something significant, but it's a start. It all has to start somewhere. And Russia keeps trying to, add on more lies, keeps trying to pretend like, no, this is not happening. And yet, here we go. Now, according to Zelensky, there is a big drone deal that is awaiting Trump's signature. Considering the history, given everything we know, given this whole thing with Trump and the war in Ukraine and all that jazz, this is one of those things where I am afraid to be optimistic, because I'm afraid that he's going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed again tomorrow and change his mind. Now, here's what this is about. This is not about Ukraine asking for something. Rather, it's the other way around. Because I know what people are going to say. Oh gosh, Ukraine is wanting something for nothing. No. This has to do with the fact that U.S. was getting its ass kicked in Iran and was wasting the super expensive Patriot air defense ammo on cardboard drones, when in reality all they should be used for is to intercept things like ballistic missiles. So US wanted to test all of Ukrainian drones, and Ukraine had agreed to this. They said, okay, test them, train with them, we'll show you how to use this, go right ahead. Here's our technology. Again, this goes back to our conversation about who is a good ally. But they still don't have a bilateral deal. So, again, the advantage is entirely on the side of the U.S. U.S. needs this knowledge. U.S. needs this technology. But, you'll know who is in charge right now. Now, we know that Middle Eastern countries and European countries have been jumping on that particular wagon. After Trump's boasting that, oh, we don't need Ukraine, there's nothing they can show us, there's nothing they can teach us, apparently the rest of the world doesn't think so. And so they're now taking advantage of what Ukraine has to offer and what Ukraine has to teach. Meanwhile, again, Ukraine continues to show how it's done by continuing to pound Russia's oil industry. The Rosneft Saratov oil refinery has been struck. That's in southwestern Russia, and there was a big fire. That particular refinery was directly supplying the war effort. And again, the problem is that anytime that local governors and regional management tries to reach out to Putin for help, they are basically told, nope, figure it out. This is a local problem. You figure it out. Another object struck was the Lazarevo pumping station in Kiev region. That's northeast of Moscow. That is over 1,200 kilometers or 745 miles from Ukrainian border. I mean, that is badass. This is well and truly badass. Meanwhile, what is Russia hitting? They hit a parking lot and killed a truck driver. Whoop-de-frickin-do. The problem continues to be the ballistics. The problem continues to be that Russia is using their ballistic missiles against Ukraine. And that is a challenge because right now, unfortunately, the only thing that well and truly works against those is the Patriot interceptors. Now, it isn't likely that Ukraine's going to get any because the U.S., in their idiocy, have used up their supply shooting them at the fucking drones. And we talked about the cost breakdown a few days ago. I think last week we talked about the cost difference between a drone and a Patriot interceptor. So Ukraine desperately needs those. I hope other countries are working on some type of equivalent. We'll see. And there have been additional reports about the way Russia has been treating Ukrainian children. So there's a story about Russia separating abducted Ukrainian siblings and adopting them out to different families. They offered to trade some children for captured soldiers in prisoner swaps. I mean, reading this makes me physically sick. This is insane. How is this okay? And we are talking about tens, if not hundreds of thousands of these children. Some of them who have gotten a little bit older in captivity are now being sent to the front. Now, some of the clever ones managed to escape and do their best to cross over to the Ukrainian side, risking getting killed. But that is what matters to them. And where are the human rights organizations? Where's UNICEF? Crickets. More to come.